What's going on, everyone? Good old Sandy back once again for another video, and of course today I am here to give you my thoughts, my preview for Bellator MMA 180, aka Bellator NYC Sonnen against Silva. The event is officially happening on June 24, 2017 from the Madison Square Garden in New York City. This, I believe, will be the second time that Bellator has been on pay-per-view. There's a couple good fights on this card, so it's going to be interesting to see what's going to be happening. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get right down into it. We have Douglas Lima against Lawrence Larkin. Lawrence Larkin's first fight in Bellator. It sucks for the UFC to have let him go, but he's coming in to the welterweight division in Bellator and he's getting a title shot, so it's going to be interesting. You know, as much as I've watched a couple clips of Douglas Lima and seems like a crazy fighter, I have more experience watching Larkin fight, and I know him a lot more than I know Lima. So if I'd had to put my money on anybody, I would have to go with Lawrence Larkin in this one. Now we move on to, and that's really interesting, we move on to the light heavyweight division. And I believe it is for the Bellator Light Heavyweight Championship. It is Phil Davis, Mr. Wonderful, against Ryan Bader. And that's pretty interesting because this fight is actually on Spike TV. You can easily watch this for free. Phil Davis, the Bellator Light Heavyweight Champion, kind of feels weird saying this. This is going to be an interesting fight, you know what I mean? Obviously Ryan Bader, it is his first fight at Bellator. So, I believe that's probably a signing bonus. Hey, sign with us, we'll give you a freaking title fight. But, it's gonna be interesting, you know what I mean? When it comes to prediction here, I'm gonna have to go with Mr. Wonderful. I've never been the biggest Ryan Bader fan, for whatever reason. Just never been the type of fighter that, you know, I enjoyed watching. I feel like the fights that I enjoyed the most with him were like the Tito Ortiz fight, where he lost, and some other fight he lost. So that's just my thoughts when it comes to Ryan Bader. Let's move on now to the lightweight division. It is for the Bellator Lightweight Championship. We have Michael Chandler defending against Brent Primus. Michael Chandler hasn't lost since 2014, and Brent Primus is actually undefeated. When it comes to Bellator, you have to see Michael Chandler as the guy. He's the only guy. He's the greatest to have never been in the UFC in the current Bellator roster. I'm gonna have to go with Michael Chandler. You know what I mean? That's just the guy. Every single time I see him fight, I think, wow, the guy's impressive, and I want to see him win. So I'm gonna go with Michael Chandler here. Next, move on to the heavyweight division. Fedor Emelianenko against Matt Mitrione. This fight's finally gonna happen. It was supposed to happen, I believe it was last November or whatever, and it was obviously pulled because Matt Mitrione got an injury, or he wasn't healthy enough to fight. Fedor against Matt Mitrione. This is gonna be an interesting fight, you know what I mean? As much as I respect Fedor, I'm gonna have to go with Mitrione. I just don't, honestly, dude, retire. Like, haven't you retired already? You're coming out of retirement here. What's the point? You know what I mean? His legacy is safe. I don't think he needs to make more money. I get that it's Viacom and it's Bellator and they're paying him a bunch, but I just don't really get it. You know what I mean? I don't see the point, and I don't see the appeal in paying pay-per-view money to watch Fedor Emelianenko fight in 2017. But again, that's just me. Matt Mitrione in this one. Next, move on to the main event of the evening. Chael P. Sonnen against Wanderlei Silva. Oh, brother. This fight is finally going to be happening. It's going to be interesting. Okay, so this one I'm actually going to be going with Wanderlei here. I know what you're thinking, you know what I mean? Sonnen, you would be pulling for him, but he hasn't won in a while, so that's why you're pulling for Wanderlei. Listen, Chael legitimately is pay-per-view king. You know what I mean? He's gonna make you buy a pay-per-view believing that there's a slight possibility that he can win, but 99% of the chances is that he's gonna lose. At least that's his track record. No disrespect to Sonnen. But this is the first time that we see Wanderlei fighting in a while, and I'm kind of pulling for the axe murder. You know what I mean? The first time I watched him fight was against Rampage. I was a big fan of Wanderlei Silva when I first started watching MMA. So I'm pulling for Wanderlei. I'm pulling for the axe murder. Let's go. Let's see. And again, I don't know how, you know, what's the drug situation with Bellator, if they're tested. I don't even know if they're under USADA program. I don't know any of that, but I'm going with the axe murder, and I hope that he retires finally after this, because, you know, if he wins and he looks impressive and he can kill Sonnen in the first round, that would be dope, you know what I mean? And it is the perfect way to finally, it'd be cool to see Wanderlei win and to finally retire in peace, if you will. So that's my thoughts when it comes to Bellator NYC. It's gonna be a good card, you know what I mean? I'm not too sure if this is worth paying pay-per-view price for this, pay-per-view money for this, but I mean, you know, not that Bellator hasn't proved themselves on pay-per-view, but the card is strong, you know what I mean? It's interesting from a format standpoint what they're doing, you know what I mean, to put the light heavyweight championship on Bellator as a Spike TV card, you know what I mean? I think it would have been better if they would have put that on the main card, but again, you know what I mean, they already have 2 main event fights, if you will, and 2 title fights on there, so we'll see. But that's pretty much it for my thoughts on Bellator NYC. Let me know your thoughts on who you got on this card, and until next time, ladies and gentlemen, you have yourself a very good day.